Hi guys, it's Haley, and today I'm going to be doing a review of the Mara Dyer series by Michelle Hodkin. This trilogy includes Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, The Evolution of Mara Dyer, and The Retribution of Mara Dyer. This is a review, but I more like to call it like my feelings on the matter on these books, because I have a lot of feelings. So I want to share with you my feelings on this book, and I don't know if I've used feelings so much in this sentence, but yeah, so I'm just going to talk to you about it. A little disclaimer is that I've read all three books. I'm going to be talking about all three books, so there may be some spoilers. I don't think I'm going to get too deep into each book and give away a whole lot of details, so I think you're probably cool, but if you don't want to know anything about the books or any details whatsoever, then you might want to stay clear. But yeah, so let's just get into it. So the first book, The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, I read this book based off of BookTube reviews and such that said it was read like more of a contemporary, but it was a paranormal flair. And I was like, that's my kind of book, like contemporary. Yes, so I decided to read it. I loved it. I had so many ideas of what this book was going to be, and this book blew my mind in such a good way. I was like, oh, I think it's gonna be like this, and this is just an average book. And then I read it and I was like, whoa, she rocked my mind. I didn't know. So the series, I should have gotten into this first, but the series covers our main character, Mara Dyer, who at the beginning of the first book, an asylum, an empty building collapses on her and her friends, and she's the only one to survive, but she remembers nothing of that night. And she's trying to put the pieces together, and her parents say she has PTSD, and they kind of think, she may be going crazy. She thinks she may be going crazy. She's kind of hallucinating, and just a lot of things going on in her life she's trying to work out. So she meets another main character, Noah Shaw, and he kind of has his own mysteries, so you're kind of figuring out, how they're connected, or how they know each other, what's their two things going on. I don't even know if I said a full sentence in there, but yeah. I loved this book. I think I've already said that, but so good. I just was completely just amazed by this book. And by the end of the first book, I was just like, give me the second book. I need to know. And when I was watching a lot of reviews for this, they said it's really spooky, keep your light on at night, kind of spooky. And so the first book, I was like, this wasn't spooky. It was good, really good and entertaining, and kind of you're mysterious, what's gonna happen, but it wasn't Grudge kind of scary is what I was picturing. That's when I've had to keep my light on, is after I watched The Grudge. But this book wasn't that. But I get to the second book, still not turn my light on at night kind of scary, but it was creepy, no joke creepy, moments where I was like, what's gonna happen? That was a live reenactment right there of what it was like reading this book. So the second book was really spooky and creepy, and I thought I was trying to figure out what the mystery was and where it was going, and then again it was whoa, this is where it's going. This is greater than I imagined, because I thought it was gonna be something else, and it turned out to be not. And then it leaves you on such a cliffhanger that you go to the third book yeah, I'm ready to finish this trilogy because it's awesome, and it's gonna be a trilogy that's great all the way to the end. And then it just comes to a screeching halt. The third book just screeches to a halt, and oh, it was so disappointing, because I wanted to love these books. By the second book, I invested so much time, and then the third book was just slow and pointless to me, is how I felt, honestly. That's my honest opinion. I'm not holding back here at all. It was very slow, and then it was a lot of wandering. And I feel like I've had this happen to me time and time again in trilogies. Divergent did this to me. The Infernal Devices was good. I loved it, and I loved the third book, but the third book to me felt really slow, and this to me was no different. The first two books were so strong, and then the third book was just I could leave it. I don't need it. But the first two books were I can't put them down, and I'm dreaming about what's gonna happen next. And so to end a series with such a, like, lame third book was kind of sad. And it got to the point where, you know, like, I just don't care about her anymore. Like, I really cared about her for, like, 2 solid books. And then by the third book, you're doing all these things that I'm like, this isn't likable. I don't care if she finds, you know, if she ends up with Noah. I don't know if she deserves Noah. And I don't know, you know, I didn't have the same compassion I had for her in the first 2 books because of all these things that she started doing in the third book that I was like, I don't care. Like, I don't want to know you anymore. And it was just really unfortunate. And I felt like the first, like, and the chapters are really small, so I'm going to say, like, the first 60 chapters, and you're going to be like, whoa, that's the whole book. But no, it's not. It's, like, the chapters are, like, so quick. So, like, the first 50 to 60 chapters, I was like, when is this story going to get going? It's a lot of wandering in New York City, and we're not getting to know any of these answers that we've been waiting for 2.5 books. When are we going to know? And then by the time they actually start, oh, we're going to pick up the story and we're going to tell you all the answers, it was a lot of like, oh, 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 no, oh. That's, that, again, another live reenactment of those last few chapters was that. Like, so deeply depressing. And then they're like, just kidding. Just kidding. This isn't exactly. And then they're like, oh, wait. Deeply depressing. Oh, next chapter. Just kidding. It's not that way. And it's just like on a roller coaster. Put you on a roller coaster of emotions. And all you want to do is just get off. Like, I just wanted to get off the roller coaster. It was making me sick. I didn't care about it. It wasn't like, woohoo, roller coaster. It's fun, you know, it's really taking you through the loops, but it has great payoff. It was just like, oh gosh, I feel like this knot in my stomach, and is this gonna be the end of the book? No, it's not. No, yeah, and it was just like not a fun ride. The third book was not a fun ride. And the first 2 books were great. The third book I feel like did not end how I wanted it to end. It didn't really feel like it ended. I was just meh about the whole thing. The first 2 books I was like, everybody should read these books. Like, and you could ask my friends, probably would tell you that I was just like, everybody should read these books. And the third book, they're asking me how it was, and I was like, meh, meh. And I feel a very huge parallel with Divergent, and that's how I was kind of comparing it to, is like the first 2 books of Divergent, I was like, yeah, good, yeah. Third book of Divergent, I was like, just die already. I don't care. If Trish dies, I don't care. Because she's a jerk, and she doesn't deserve 4. 4 is such a great guy, and she doesn't deserve it. And that's how I felt with Mara Dyer. I loved her first 2 books. The third book, I was like, no, Shasu, good for you. Girl, you don't even know what you're doing. And I just don't care. I just didn't care about the third book. And I guess I've said that enough that I just didn't care about the third book. But those are my feelings on the matter. But yeah, so overall, I think I gave the first book, The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer, 5 stars. The second book, The Evolution of Mara Dyer, 5 stars. I gave the third book, The Retribution of Mara Dyer, 3 stars. So I liked it enough to give it 3 stars. But it just wasn't like all-consuming as the first 2 books were. The author's coming out, I think, with like kind of a spin-off kind of type series about Noah Shaw, the other character, and I probably will still read that. It wasn't terrible enough for me not to read it, and plus I love Noah Shaw. He was like my heart, so I'll probably still read it. But it just overall, the trilogy as a whole wasn't all. Each book did not compare to, like, the first 2 books led up to such a great conclusion that the conclusion didn't have a great conclusion, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, you waited for so long for very little payoff, and that was just kind of upsetting for me. But I did enjoy the first 2 books, that being said. I was like, the first book I was like, I want to buy the trilogy, and I looked it up on Amazon, and I was like, I'm gonna buy this. And I was like, maybe I should wait until I finish the trilogy, make sure I love it as much. But I was like, no, I'm going to love this trilogy. I'm kind of glad that I didn't buy it, because the ending was just kind of lackluster. But that's just my thoughts. on the Mara Dyer series. If you have different ones, leave it in the comments below. I would love to know your opinion about these books, and I'd love to talk to you about it. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It's really encouraging to me. And if you want to see more of my videos, hit subscribe. I hope to be bringing more videos more frequently. I'm hoping to do them every Thursday, so be on the lookout for those. Thanks, guys. Hope to talk to you soon. Bye.